Okay, let's dive straight into this explainer. Today we're looking at something that honestly goes way beyond just clicking a button on a fancy piece of tech. We're exploring a program called Venity, the art of seeing, and it basically offers a completely fresh way of looking at the world around you. But to really get what that means, we kind of have to start with a deeply, deeply universal frustration.
So I want you to really think about this for a second. Have you ever been walking down the street or maybe just standing in your living room and you see something truly beautiful? Like maybe it's that exact perfect way the late afternoon light hits a textured wall. It's one of those moments that literally stops you in your tracks, right? So you whip out your camera, you take the shot, and then you look down at the screen. And instead of this glowing, magical scene, it looks like a flat, over-filtered potato. All that magic, poof, just gone.
And that brings us to this incredibly frustrating gap. A gap every single person who has ever tried to capture a memory has fallen into. On one side, you have the breathtaking reality, that vivid, emotional rush of witnessing perfect light and perfect timing. But on the exact opposite side, you have the result, which is so often just a profoundly disappointing photo. And you're left standing there wondering, okay, what went wrong? Was it the wrong lens? Were the settings totally off? Was the lighting just too complex for the sensor?
Well, now what's really interesting here is that according to the Venity philosophy, that entire line of questioning is just wrong. Actually, scratch that. It's missing the point entirely. The truth they present is refreshingly simple. The problem is absolutely not the camera in your hands. The real problem is that no one has ever actually taught us how to see. Think about it. We spend countless hours learning how to operate these complex devices, but we spend almost zero time learning how to visually interpret the world. This is the core premise that basically changes everything about how this program works.
Which brings us to part 1. Perception over photography. So, stepping away from the mechanical stuff and moving right into the mental space of the artist, the creator makes this incredibly bold statement right out of the gate. They say, "I do not teach photography." Instead, the whole focus is on teaching perception, teaching attention, and teaching presence. The core belief here is that true art doesn't start with the gear you own. It doesn't start with mastering exposure triangles or memorizing a bunch of technical rules. True art begins with how you see. And honestly, if you aren't fully present and paying attention to your surroundings, the most expensive camera on the planet is not going to save your image.
And this brilliantly illustrates why they completely reject standard mechanics. The material presents this core idea. In the real world, absolutely nothing is ever repeated. No two creations can ever be exactly the same, simply because life doesn't work that way. Light is completely unique down to the millisecond. Moments are unique. Life is unique. And because of this beautiful, unrepeatable nature of reality, trying to force your work into rigid, pre-packaged templates, it just doesn't work. That's why Venity isn't framed as some strict textbook program to memorize. It's a living, breathing process that you actually undergo.
Moving on to part 2, the experience, a format that fits your life.
So how do you actually go through this process? Well, the source material lays out a journey that starts May 1st at vanityart.com, and it's structured very intentionally. The whole experience is exactly 10 lessons, and crucially, these lessons are only 5 to 7 minutes each. The creator is super clear about this. No unnecessary theory, no information overload. You only get what they believe will actually change the way you see. The entire format is built around the idea that this process should fit seamlessly into your life, not the other way around. It's direct, it's focused, and it is completely devoid of fluff.
So if you strip away the heavy technical manuals and the endless hours of theory, what's actually left? Well, according to the program, what you're left with is the pursuit of style. And this is a massive contrast. It's the difference between people who obsess over standard camera settings just to collect standard images and people who use their perception to actually develop their own unique style. This whole process is explicitly for those who want more than just pretty pictures. It's for folks who want to forge a true, recognizable artistic identity.
All right, let's talk about part 3, the standard and investment.
Because building that artistic identity, it takes a real level of commitment. The program actually uses a specific standard as a sort of filter for dedicated creatives. At the end of the process, there's a test. But the crucial point is that this test isn't there to artificially challenge you or trip you up. It's there to distinguish you. You have to hit a minimum score of 75%, and the reasoning makes total sense. Only those who truly understand this core philosophy of perception and presence will earn the certificate.
Now, alongside that academic standard, there is a financial commitment of €250. And I want to point out how deliberately the creator's materials frame this. They position this not just as a standard cost, but as a genuine investment in fundamentally changing how you see the world around you. The real value is placed directly on your personal vision, rather than just, buying a standard set of tutorial videos.
Which leads us perfectly into part 4, leaving a mark.
As we wrap up this explainer, the program essentially poses a final question to you. Is this the right path for you? And the pitch relies on a very simple premise. If you feel this is for you, you probably already know. It's asking you to explore these ideas, really feel them, and see if you recognize yourself in this philosophy. Now, access at vanityart.com is intentionally limited, and that's because the creator strictly protects the space for a very specific mindset. It's a space built on one major guiding principle: we create, we do not consume. It's all about actively engaging with the world, rather than just passively letting it wash over you.
Which leaves us with this final, incredibly powerful thought to consider. Some people take photos, others leave a mark. It kind of forces you to look at your own work, doesn't it? To look at your own habits and ask yourself, which one are you doing? Are you just casually capturing whatever happens to be in front of you, or are you truly seeing it, engaging with it, and leaving a lasting piece of your own identity behind? It is a truly fascinating perspective on what it means to be a creator today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, I hope it changes the way you look at the light around you.